All right, so let's start with prepositions. As far as definition, a preposition shows the relationship between a noun or pronoun and another word or group of words in a sentence. To be specific, prepositions show relationships of time and space. So let me just pull up several examples here. Out, the man looked out the window. Watch out for the cat hiding behind the chair. During intermission, we decided to buy popcorn. I dropped my pencil under the desk. And can you drive me to the airport tomorrow? So we'll talk a little bit more about prepositional phrases, but that relationship, so for example, out the window, the word out is showing the connection between the word window and where the man looked. Does that make sense? So that spatial relationship behind the chair shows where the cat is hiding. Another spatial relationship, an example of time would be the during preposition. During intermission, we decided to buy popcorn. So the word that shows the relationship of time, can't get my words right there, of when we decided to buy the popcorn. So another little helpful thing that maybe you've heard before is that prepositions, and this doesn't work with every single one, but a lot of people will say a preposition is anything that a plane can do to a cloud. An airplane can go through the cloud, around the cloud, above the cloud, beneath the cloud, over the cloud. So, or maybe you've heard anything a squirrel can do to a tree. A squirrel can run up a tree and down a tree. A squirrel can burrow under the tree. So, again, that just gives you an idea of how to think about prepositions. Something else that can help you think about prepositions is that a preposition always has an object, and this creates what we call a prepositional phrase. Okay, so the squirrel ran up the tree. And typically a prepositional phrase will be one or two words, and a lot of times it's going to be the preposition, and then an article like a, an, or the, and then the noun or pronoun, up the tree. Sometimes it's just two words where you don't have the article, but a lot of times it is three. Check in the garage to see if Adam left his bike. Just another example. So both the words tree and garage are what we would call the object of the preposition. And prepositions can be tricky. We've talked about certain words that can function as multiple parts of speech. I like to call them double agents. So what you're really looking for is words that function as prepositions. So let me give you two common examples. The word to. All right, the word to can often be used as a preposition. We walked a mile to the beach. The word to can also be part of a verb. Miles really wanted to swim in the ocean. So because the word to in the second sentence is connected to a verb, it becomes part of that verb. It becomes an infinitive, to swim. It doesn't have an object with, as in, to the beach. Do you see the difference there? So just because you see the word to, you can't automatically assume it's a preposition. You have to look at how it's functioning in the sentence. Another example, sometimes prepositions can function as adverbs. So here's another example. I think Bob already walked down the stairs. So this one is a preposition. It has an object. It's creating that prepositional phrase, down the stairs. However, the word down can also function as an adverb. This elevator only goes down. And the word down there is modifying the verb goes, right? Where does the elevator go? It goes down. I hope you can see the difference there because that can be tricky. Sometimes you see a word and you're so sure it's a preposition because it's often used as a preposition, but you really have to look at how it's functioning in the sentence. And the best tip I have for you is to really look for that prepositional phrase. If there isn't a prepositional phrase, then it's probably not functioning as a preposition. It's functioning as an adverb or some other part of speech, probably an adverb. All right, so that's prepositions. The other part of speech, another one we have not talked about yet, is conjunctions. And conjunctions link words, phrases, and clauses. There are 4 types of conjunctions. The good news for you is you do not have to identify like what type of conjunction you see on a test. You just have to know it's a conjunction. I go ahead and give you all this information because I think it makes it a little easier to identify conjunctions. So here we go. The most common type of conjunction is coordinating, and so this is probably what you think of when you think of conjunctions. And you may have even seen this acrostic, fanboys, which stands for the words for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. And these are just the most common conjunctions. They can link words. I like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. They can link clauses. He wanted to buy pizza, but he was out of money. They're just kind of your really basic conjunctions that we use all the time. Specifically, and, but, or, I would say are probably the most common ones. So those most people recognize pretty well. Some other words that you may not realize are conjunctions are correlative conjunctions. And these conjunctions always come in pairs and create a parallel structure in a sentence. For example, the words either or, neither nor, not only but also, these are conjunctions. So I'll buy either the black sweater or the blue one. Creates that parallel structure there, but both the words either and or are conjunctions in this sentence. Pam not only wrote an original play, but she also performed the lead role. So, and I hope you guys can see what conjunctions do is they link ideas together. So the words not only and but also provide that link for those two ideas. Pam wrote an original play, she performed the lead role. So showing how those two clauses go together. So that's correlative conjunctions. We also have subordinating conjunctions, which introduce dependent clauses. So this is words like although, because, after, even though, since. The word after, that's one of those double agents. It can be a conjunction linking clauses, or it can be a preposition. It just depends on how you're using it. Because we were late to the party, we didn't get any cake. So that clause, because we were late to the party, is a dependent clause. It can't stand on its own, right? You couldn't just write the sentence, because we were late to the party. That seems incomplete, which is what makes it a dependent clause. So, but the word because is showing the relationship between that first clause and the second one. Another example, Carol wants to travel to Ireland since her family heritage is Irish. So that second half of the sentence, since her family heritage is Irish, that's a dependent clause. It can't stand on its own. And so we have the subordinating conjunction creating a dependent clause. And then the final type of conjunction we actually call conjunctive adverbs. And I know that seems like a really mean English teacher trick to put those two words together, but it is a type of conjunction. And conjunctive adverbs are words like therefore, furthermore, however, nevertheless. These are words that link independent clauses. So in a sentence like this, I've been studying diligently for my English 1310 test. However, I still need to finish the practice test. And you'll usually see these conjunctive adverbs in this kind of structure with a semicolon before the word and then a comma afterwards. That's just the correct structure to use when you're using that conjunctive adverb to link independent clauses. Another example, this weather has been beautiful, therefore, it's been difficult to get any homework done. So those type of words, probably however and therefore, are the two most common conjunctive adverbs. But hopefully all these examples help you recognize what conjunctions are. And that brings us to our very last part of speech, interjections. And these are pretty easy to recognize. Interjections are emphatic words or phrases that express surprise or emotion, and they're typically followed by an exclamation point. And actually, the Schoolhouse Rock does a really great job saying they're usually followed by an exclamation point, but sometimes at the beginning of the sentence, they may be followed by a comma if the feeling is not quite as strong. So some example words like help or wow, hey, well, super, or yikes. So basically, any of those comic book words are interjections. Some examples, hey, watch out for that snake. Or, wow, what a beautiful rainbow. So interjections, they typically either stand alone or they come at the beginning of a sentence preceding an idea. That's not always the case, but that's probably the two most common ways that you will see interjections used in sentences. All right, so that's all I have for you guys on these three parts of speech. Hopefully that helps you understand them and be able to identify them a little bit more clearly. Again, you're welcome to contact me with any questions.